Hello and welcome to the Two Nordics podcast, our first Zoom one. And I'm joined by Timmy Long, of course.
Hi everyone.
And this week we have another neighbour of ours from our Cullen, Susan Walsh. How are you, Susan?
Good. Thanks for having me on, lads.
Do you want to tell the people who don't know you who you are and what's the crack?
Yeah, so as James said, my name's Susan Walsh. I grew up in our Cullen. I'm laughing because I just figured out they were talking about our age, and I'm like, I'm 40, which I would thought was always old, but I feel like a young one. I'm supposed at the moment I'm studying. My background would have been initially just growing up in the north. I worked in retail, hardcore work ethic. I worked really hard. That was to get money to go out and have nice things and clothes and go clubbing and all that. And then I got into addiction very quickly, I suppose. Alcohol was my kind of thing, mainly, would have been my main thing. But I didn't even start drinking until I was younger, and it really took off fast. I know a lot of my friends were drinking when they were 13, but I was about 16, which was actually, I know that doesn't sound young, but it was quite young compared to people I was hanging around with. And I still love alcohol to this day. Like today, I don't drink, and I haven't taken a drink for a good few years. But I just loved to drink. Like everything went to partying, going out, men, like everything to do with it. I loved it. And then it came to a head where I had to really look at my drinking and kind of the impact it was having. And then that's when all the kind of, well, I suppose in many ways, so that's where the good stuff started, but it was where the shit got really,
And do you miss the drink today?
Yes.
What part of it, or what about it? Do you miss the getting dressed up and going out, or do you miss getting drunk, or the crack? Or
do you know what? I hate, sometimes it took me a long time to even be able to say that to somebody else in recovery that I miss it, because I kind of felt like, oh, you're a bad addict or alcoholic or whatever. But I did it for years. Like I was right up until I was 33 before I stopped drinking, and I couldn't stop drinking, I suppose. But what I miss about it is the escape, the bottle of wine, the association, because I still get dressed up and go out or whatever. But that switch off moment, I'm a very strong I overthink things a lot, and I learned very early on that a few cans of Ritz just took all that away very quickly. So why not do it? Plus it was, everyone drinks. Do you know what I mean? I know I'm generalizing, but everyone I knew drank, and they all probably drank problematically, but not necessarily addictive. Do you know what I mean? So I just missed it. Even there now, I was watching the game last week, the football, and I'd be thinking about, God, I'd love a pint now. I just miss everything about it. Smell, touch, drink, taste, feeling. But I suppose what I've learned that for me is just not an option, because where it took me, I'm very grateful to alcohol actually for where it kept me alive, but where not so much.
I suppose the drinking scene was pretty much the culture as well, in our Cullen, Hollyhill, Knocknaheeny, in Cork, wherever. So if you're not drinking, you actually don't fit in, do you? You don't fit into a group.
And I would have been in every aspect of my life. It wouldn't have just been with friends. It would have been with family. We would have drank. Everything was around. And I just thought that was very normal. Genuinely. I was going, you're the freak if you don't drink. What's wrong with you? Even I remember it's so funny because on Christmas Day, my mum would always get baby sham, right? I don't know if you remember baby sham. But I was about 9 and I fucking used to love it. The writing was on the wall. But I think as well for me, I wouldn't be much of a crier. I never was, even though I'm female. Some people say females are more in touch with their feelings. I wouldn't be one of those. I'd be very much drive on, crack on, toughen up, just do it. And suddenly when I was drinking, I could be crying to the girls or, telling them about something that I was upset over. But the next day, it'd be just come here to stay with me last night, do you mind that? Now, move on. Now, this is on reflection, but what it did for me was it really gave me the ability to be vulnerable and to feel. And I didn't have that kind of I suppose without alcohol, I didn't have that. So I didn't drink for confidence. I would meet people and say, oh, I'd be too shy, or I was never shy. very chatty. Not, it didn't brought in for any of that. It was actually for that kind of real sense of like, God, I can cry, or I can be sad, or, you know, I can be angry.
Do you know, when you were in the height of your drinking then, how did you realise you had a problem, or when did it dawn on you? Like, what aspects of your life was being affected when you were, like, was your family on your case? What about employment, relationships, or?
Do you know what? Mine was, my kind of, the way it went for me was like, I was drinking, when I was drinking in the pub, I didn't think it was an issue because it was outside, so you were getting dressed up to go somewhere. So, you know, the whole minimise, justify. Then when I started getting the wine and bringing it home, you know, getting a bottle of wine, then when that was increased to 2 bottles of wine. And like, there was small small changes I made that I didn't notice. Like, I used to go into like Marks and Spencer's, right, for that dine for 2 thing. Should have dined for 1, first of all. And I was only getting it because of the bottle of wine. But like, your one mark, I was like all dressed up. I was working with Ryan at the time, and I was like, "Hey girl, yeah, just getting a bottle of wine." All bullshit. I was hanging for a drink. Do you know what I mean? Because I needed it to, I suppose, to regulate myself, to come down, to come up. You name it, it did it for me. And I, right up until before I went into treatment, I was poached for jobs because clearly I'm still am today. I can be very good at putting on a mask. Do you know? I can be. Like, if you met me, say, right, there might be a smell of drink, and you go, Jesus, we out last night, but I quickly, obviously, yeah, but look, I'm still up, I'm at work, you know. And what happened to me was I ended up in Benefit Cosmetics in Debenhams. So, like, that's a big beauty hall, so there's an awful lot of competition anyway in there. And they didn't really know me that well, but like, you're right up to someone's face. I was the branch accounts manager. And it got to the stage where I was going to work, drinking, going out on my lunch, drinking, having a can in the shower before I left the house to get ready. Then I was conscious of where to dump the bottles because the wheelie bin was like jammed. Do you know what I mean? And like, I know I said that, I was talking to somebody recently, she kind of laughed, and I was like, do you know what? I know your intention wasn't to laugh at that, but that is really shameful. Like, when you can't even move the wheelie bin because it's so full of bottles, like, do you know? And what happened was, it was actually mental health was where I kind of was my problem. I was like, oh, I have a mental health problem. Now I have a few of them too. But that was what I went to address initially. And they kind of highlighted, the person I met said to me, you know, you seem to talk about drink a lot or whatever. And I was like, yeah, because I do drink. And she was like, well, if you're coming to us, you have to stop drinking. And I just couldn't stop. Like, literally, I remember at this time now, like, I'm going back and forward a couple of years and stuff, but this time I was actually back at my mum's. So I was like an adult. So I was like 30, 32, I'd say. And I remember I had an appointment down the orthopaedic, but even to get to the appointment, I had to walk past the office. And I just couldn't. Like, I actually couldn't go in with it. I had to just go in even through 2 cans. Oh my God. Like, and then I go in, she said, "Are you drinking today?" No. And the smell of Bulmers on me, obviously. Do you know what I mean? Because it was Bulmers at the time. But I mean, in the end, it was vodka, and it was all that kind of stuff. And when you say what kind of brought my attention to it, my husband now, but he was my boyfriend at the time. I remember one day he found a bottle of wine under the sink, and I was like, I forgot about it. Like, he's lost this about it. And I was like, I just made up some bullshit excuse anyway. But he kind of was saying, look, that's not normal. And you know, why did you feel the need to do that? And it was because I was drinking so much. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would just literally drink wine in the evening, pass out. I've no shame in saying it. I'd wet the bed. I'd wake up the next morning, shower, can for the cure, get ready, put on the mask, dump the bottles on the way into work. And I swear to God, like, I was exhausted from it. Like, I was bait. And then the first thought was, I suppose the first time I sought help was through that mental health process, which wasn't a good experience at all, because it was judgment, you know.
You know, like a lot of psychiatrists and psychologists really say, even that book there, James, Chasing the Scream, and they talk about Gabor Mate, which is a fantastic book. He speaks about why people actually drink and drug, you know. It's all based on mental health issues initially. You know, we all drink because there's something wrong, there's some traumatic experience that's after happening. And maybe anything. It could be from seeing a dog being knocked down, or it could be anything simple as that, you know. But a lot of people kind of usually go to AA or go to a drug counsellor before they actually look at the mental health problems later on when they're in recovery. You know, you went the other route, really, Susan, didn't you?
Well, do you know what? I may never forget what happened. I was living out in an apartment again with my boyfriend at the time, and I'd been on the phone to someone in my family anyway, like in a hot mess. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, they were worried. I remember, you know, my mum came out and she was like, to see me, and she was like, "Oh my god," shocked. I suppose the kind of state I was in, like state I looked, and she was like, "We have to bring you somewhere, like somewhere." We didn't know where the somewhere was, and that's where the referral was, because they'd said it was kind of. I'd said I was suicidal at the time, but actually I was suicidal for a load of reasons. But one of the main reasons was I was found out my drinking on huge levels. You know, I remember I was working in it one day, and my fella rang me and he says, "Don't bother, you know, don't bother coming home." And I was like, "What?" And he said, "You'll see when you come home." And I went home, and in the spare room, the whole double bed was just full of empty wine bottles, empty cans, and every handbag I owned. So there was like about 50 handbags thrown and all the contents spilled out in the bed. He was like, what's this about? Like, you know? So I was just, I suppose, shame and nowhere else to go. Then ended up bringing me to treatment, you know. I did try the fellowship first, actually, but, and I've no bones about saying this, I found it very hard to go into a meeting with people, because I kind of thought there was grandiosity about me, like, not just straight up. I was like, I'm not like them, like, do you know what I mean? I've worked my whole life. I did my leaving cert. Do you know, I just got promoted 4 weeks ago. Like, I haven't got children there was just so many comparisons. And I remember one meeting I went to, the fella next to me. he got a nudge being pointed up the chair, and I was like, I turned around, like, was she non-judgmental, nah? Like, so, like, he was like trying to say, like, your ones with the words. She's in a meeting, she doesn't even know why she's here. But so from then I was like, oh no, fuck, this isn't for me at all. Do you know what I mean? But like, it was definitely for me. It was the right place.
Do you know what it sounds like? It sounds like when I went into treatment initially, like, you know, I went into Table Lodge, which is a treatment centre in Cork, and I thought I was going in there because my problem was when I used, I'd go binging for a week, full week, maybe longer sometimes, and I'd be at it, and there'd be no sleep, there'd be nothing, it'd be drugs and drink and everything else that comes with that. And I'd be fucking, when I went into Table Lodge then, it was like, right, this is what's going to happen when I get out of here. I'd say this to my wife, Nicole, I'd say, when I get out of here now, I'm going to be able to go out with you, we'll have a few drinks and I'll be able to go home, you know. That was never going to happen, like. But when I was in there, it all changed. I kind of understood addiction a little bit more, because I had my frame of thinking was after clearing up, the fog was after lifting a little bit, you know.
Yeah, and you know what? For me, I didn't have that clarity. I went into residential, and I did 3 months treatment in 2013, right? And I remember when I went in. First of all, I remember when I went down for the assessment, even the words, like, I was like, oh, cringing, you know. But I was all done up and swearing, I was going on holidays, like, I was dressed up to 9, like, you know, I'm going to no treatment centre. And it was a female treatment centre, but they were cleaning the windows. Right, but I mean, all right, there's nothing wrong with cleaning windows. But seeing a woman in a complete trance, just like at a window, I was like, here, I'm not going into this place at all. I'll come out fucking worse. I'm bad enough. But come here when you've nothing and no other resources you take in, you know. So I detoxed at home, actually. And I remember I got the Librium off the doctor, but I remember going up to the chemist in Knocknaheeney for the prescription, and I called the pharmacist and I said, where? This is like a pure cop out, taking these, isn't it? I should just stop drinking, like. And she was like, no, your doctor's giving me these because it's, my understanding was just so worked about it all. I was like, I drink too much, loads of shit has happened to me, grand. If I just calm it down, then I'd get a bit of stillness in my mind. But then when I realised I physically couldn't stop drinking, like, it was just absolutely chained to it. Like, you know, one day in work, I was called up off the floor, and they said, somebody suspects you're drinking. Talk about a brazen bitch, like, I mean, fight fire with fire. I was like, excuse me? No, I was hammered. And I was like, how dare you imply that I search my locker? You know, this totally, like, not in reality at all. Went straight home and everything ranks as the device. And I was like, now they're after saying this about me. And then she says to me, and were you drinking? And I said, oh, well, obviously. And I can't, like, I was drinking the ham when I was talking to her. And I was like, so, like, well, tomorrow. She was like, no, I wouldn't face it. But, like, I don't know what's going to happen with you. And like that, it was total denial. I was like, yeah, I will go to face. And who's the fuck there saying that to me? Like, there's a smell drink got me. This is not of you. You know, I was just so like, and I was protecting the alcohol. But that was my best friend. I didn't want anyone to mention it or be quick to say, you drink every night. What do you want about it? You're the same. But I thought everyone had that relationship with alcohol. And, you know, even Joni would go to the Saturday night, I'd always say to the girls, you better be up for now, cure tomorrow at 12. This was when I was 17. But I thought, they all thought that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I bring you back to a couple of things you mentioned there? First of all, if you're drinking heavily for a long time, you should definitely take Librium, because the detox can be very dangerous. It can end in seizures and DTs. Another thing you were talking about, going to the treatment centre, dialed up to the nines. I was laughing at that because when you come into recovery, or when I met you in recovery, I was actually surprised you were in recovery, because, as you said earlier on, you wore the mask well, and you were always very glamorous looking. You were always dialed up to the nines, and you presented yourself, and it's like, you know what, she has her shit together, she looks great. Doesn't matter what time of the day or what day of the week, Susan, makeup is done, the clothes are nice. And I can just picture you walking into the Tower Lodge. Or where did you go, Tower Lodge?
Yeah, I actually went to Finance, Kunvira first. I did treatment twice. I did the first, and I was trying to protect the drink, but I was also like, is this an extreme reaction? 3 months of treatment, and I could easily minimise and justify all the behaviours that had gone with what I'd done, because I hadn't robbed. I was still working. Like, I made all these, justifications in my own head, but like, that was very important to me, James, that whole look in a certain way, because I was able to hide it to some degree. And it's interesting because, like we all know, many people still in active addiction, I know loads and people in recovery. But one of the motivators for me was, I remember a woman said to me one time, I can't even remember now, she was a professional, but she basically said, if you keep drinking the way you're drinking, you're going to look bait in another few years. Now, I was suicidal, but like, that was the worst news she could have delivered. I was starting to get, you get the blood, the vessels, I was starting to see them, and I was like, oh fuck, my hair started to fall out. I remember I went for routine bloods, and the doctor rang me and she said, there's indication of strong substance misuse. Your liver is severely damaged. I changed doctors. Like, I was like, you're one, is she for real? Tell me that. I paid €50 for that news. Good luck. Because I just didn't want to face that. Maybe this is the problem. And I do think, being a woman, there's even more stigma to it,
That's what I was going to say.
It's acceptable for you to sit in to go down to Baker Street, I'm waiting at 10 o'clock to go in. Like, me doing it then, it isn't going to say, if you're a person, she's a mess, like, all these points of reference come in, none of which are true or accurate, so I just had the same problem that many people have, but it was, you would be judged way more harshly.
It would be like if you were at a house party, and after the party you went over to Charlie's or the early morning for the pint at 7 o'clock in the morning, and there was a girl in the corner. They stand out, and there is way more stigma attached to that. Whereas for the boys, they're having a crack, they're up, mad things, they're up all night. But there's a big problem then with the female doing it,
Absolutely. And as well, I kind of got away with it because for a long time, which was probably to my detriment really, because I kept jobs and I used to get promoted, and because I put on the glamour mask and, I'm all the biz and all this, and like a hot mess on the inside. But like, then when you really need it, I remember I used to go into Scott's on my lunch. Sure, I wasn't hungry, I needed a pint to get me through the day. And I'd go up and I'd order, never forget it, I'd order half portion of lasagna. I was never going to eat it. Like, I just had to have it on the table, do you know what I mean? And a pint. And once I'd have 2 pints, then I'd go back to work for the afternoon. Then on the way home, bottle of wine, 2 bottles of wine, swap them out, switching every trick in the book. Do you know what I mean? Nailed.
Yeah.
As long as I kept turning up for work, in my mind, it was still kind of all right. It was actually only the first time I told someone I had a problem that I told someone, like I'd say many people were telling me, was when I was in Australia, and a girl I was living with, she said like, "Oh, do you drink an awful lot?" I said, "That's because you're Swedish and I'm Irish, you wouldn't clue, girl." But as weeks went on, I couldn't leave where we were living. I couldn't actually go out, because my hair was so bad, like it was visibly, there was gaps. And I remember when the last patient, he goes, "What's wrong with your hair there?" And I was like, "Oh my God." And I knew it was all complete substance misuse. Like my body was screaming out to stop. But even after my first treatment, I remember before I left, one of the girls goes, "How are you going to, like what Timmy said there about, Tabor, I'll come out and I'll be able to do this." And she was like, "How are you going to manage that now with your boyfriend?" Like, no, he is complete opposite of anyone I've ever dated in a good way. He's now my husband, that's why. And he drink very, socially. I wouldn't have an issue with alcohol. But I remember my sister, "Should I not go and tell him that?" And she was like, "Suzanne, you've been in a treatment centre for the last 3 months. How are you going to go out and not tell him that?" And I was like, "Oh no, see, I don't have a problem with the drink. I needed the break." And look, my hair started to crack now. I swear to God, I was like, I just needed a break. It was getting top me. I'm fucking a high flyer. Like, no, this isn't going to change at all. And then I went back out, and in fairness, like, even though we weren't together, he was amazing to me. Like, he was very supportive. And I did loads of shit to him in my addiction, do you know what I mean? Loads of horrible stuff that I'm not proud of. But he was still very good to me. And I remember I said to him, "I won't drink now." And he was like, "Well, look, if you do, then, that's it." We weren't back together as in a relationship, but he was actually leaving me stay with him in his apartment. Because I didn't have I had nowhere to go. Like, I went from being branch accounts manager with a makeup done to like homeless, then I would drank out of the shoe if it was fucking half full for me, And remember he said, "Look, no drink, whatever." And I was like, "Well, obviously, of course, no drinking." I was all into God, and I'm not dissing that because I do get a lot of, I suppose, comfort from faith. But obviously, the treatment program I was in was very religious based, so I was pure into that. And then I went up to Limerick to meet somebody who I was in treatment with. We went for a meeting, and when I went back to get the bus, Fine Wines is on the corner in Limerick. Swear to God, I can see it now as if I'm standing there. And I said, "Do you know what? It was a beautiful sunny day." I was like, "Oh, gosh." "Do you know what? I haven't drank for 4 months. Like, what? Let's see what happens. Let's see. Nothing's going to happen." So I went in, and first thing I said to Sherman, I said, "I'll just get a small bottles, wine, the quarter bottles." I never forget it. Typically, he was like, "3 for the tenner." I said, "Should I take 3 from so? Like, it's 3 for a tenner? Why wouldn't I?" So I got on the bus, and I was like, I opened the bottle, and I was like, "Yeah, nothing's ever happening. The bus didn't crash. I haven't dropped dead. I'm totally grand." They've overreacted. And then within 3 weeks, my addiction was the worst that it ever was. Like, I turned up drunk to meetings. I was asked to leave meetings. They were going to call the guards for me over in Rutland Street. My aftercare had to send me out because, of course, I was abusing everyone, telling them it was all their fault. So for me, I was haunted because I managed to get a bed in Rory within 3 weeks. But I remember at the time, like, I was, and again, coming back to the whole female side of it, I remember even going and buying cans during that relapse, right? And I saw 2 people, as well, to live up by us, like, and I was sitting at, Rats Lane, or whatever it's called. What's the proper name for it? Monastery Hill, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, like Rats Lane, like, right? So I remember I was sitting up there, and I was drinking cans, and I seen these 2 people that would be neighbours of ours, and the look of disgust on their face, they were like, "Jesus Christ, stay at her." And I was like, "Oh my God, this is just hopeless. I don't know what I'm going to do." Rang the treatment, and they're like, "This is a great program. You should be grand." And I was like, "Well, I'm here now with a can. They're not grand. I'm certainly not grand. No man sitting to shoot me, and then 0. And except for, to be fair, my partner said to me, "Look, if you're willing to go back into treatment and see, what's going on, like, I support you as best I can." So Within 3 weeks, I was back. After being out, after 3 months, I was out. 3 weeks, I was back in. And again, what did I do? The morning of the treatment, my husband says to me, I'll drive you to Limerick now, just trying to take some of the angst out of it. But I was like, you're not driving me. I was like, no, this is something I need to do for myself. This is my journey. All this bullshit, right? It wasn't. I needed to get drink to go there with. I needed something with me. Couldn't just go sober. So I went into the Welcome Inn with a suitcase packed, again, all done up, still all that. And there was a load of fellas I knew in there, and they were going, Jesus, what are you doing here? And I was like, oh, I'm going to my holidays there. Just dropped in for a quick holidays. I was going to Brewery. Like I was hardly going to I wouldn't be telling anyone that. Then I was shy away till 10:30 till the office was open. Then I got 2 bottles of wine on the bus up to Limerick. And I woke up in somebody else's house coat, right? And apparently I'd gone into the sitting room singing Black as the Colour during choir practice and like was living the dream. Thought I was like unreal. Woke up next morning and went, holy shit, this is the big, I need to go. And I swear to God, if they'd have left me go, like if my own will was permitted, I wouldn't be here talking to you now at all, because you won't have to, you're leaving because you want to drink. I was like, you take that. I'm not leaving because I want to drink. I'm leaving because I'm not an alcoholic and I shouldn't be here. Like, you missed the mark with me. And he said to me, you're manic. And I was like, well, this is great. Just something else wrong with me. But I did stay, gritted teeth, like, and slowly but surely. One of the biggest turning points for me was when she said, I remember when I first treated Android, they kept saying it was a battle. And this is where I think the use of language is so important. The battle for life, Susan, you have this. And I was like, oh my God. The next time in treatment, they said to me, if you just surrender, and if you say, look, for me, at the moment, I cannot drink, do you know what I mean, because of what it does to me. It doesn't feel so negative, do you know what I mean, even from your own headspace. Like, it's like playing out the tape, looking at the consequences. I'd heard all that. And for some reason, just that piece resonated with me. And they got us to do an exercise where we all wrote a letter to our addiction. And I was shocked at how every letter was the exact same. I didn't know them, Adam, they didn't know me, and we all wrote the same things to our addiction, It
just shows you that it doesn't really matter who you are or what you're using. We all have the same consequences. It destroys our lives, and it doesn't matter if it's alcohol or heroin or benzos. It'll all destroy us, But we've about 2.5 minutes left, Susan, before Zoom cuts us off. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about life post-alcohol and how you're getting on today and what your plan is for the future?
You know what? Like, life post-alcohol is good. Like, it's good. But just because I stopped drinking, my problems didn't go away. And I think that's something that people we get lured into a false sense of security. I thought once I stopped drinking, everything would be grand, because, of course, my hair started going back, the liver sorted itself out, blah, 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 blah. But a lot of the underlying, like, not feeling good enough, not being worth much, still putting on the mask was still there, so it only kind of tipped the surface really for me. But what I really did was unite me and my husband. Like, he was so supportive, and he went out of his way to get an understanding about what addiction is and what it does, because he was like, he knows me better than anyone. He was like, I know you're a beautiful person, you're not a liar, you're not like, if you said it, you meant it. So he really took the time to kind of get educated around it, and just every step along the way, like he was with me. We got married. I'm in my final year in college, and I give all that back. Like, if someone said to me 7 years ago, Susan, in 7 years' time you'll be sober, that's it now, I'd be like, that's everything. That's all I want. All the other stuff is just kind of like surplus to requirement. It's great that I have it, but without I suppose having myself and the understanding of my relationship with, because like drugs and drink would be my story, like alcohol's my primary, but I mean, I would have I'd done an awful lot over the years, and I've never been happier. But I still have struggles. Like, do you know what I mean? My addiction manifests in different ways today. Do you know, like irrational thoughts. Do you know, I feel very strongly about self-harm, because it's something that I would have experienced in sobriety, and it wasn't part of my story during drinking, which I thought was quite unusual. So I just have huge awareness, and the only thing that kept me sober was gratitude, really, I think, and that keeps me sober.
It just shows as well that when you put down the alcohol, your problems don't leave you. You still have to do a lot of work on yourself, and we're all a work in progress, the three of us here. Your husband sounds like a saint. I'd love to hear his side of the story, so you can ask him if he wants to come on.
And now, right, I swear to God, I hit the jackpot, because he's obviously fucking sound like, and he's, do you know what I mean? And he's been with me in addiction and in recovery, and that rarely happens, as we all know. Do you know what I mean?
Blessed. You're blessed to have him, and we're going to run out of time. So thanks a million for coming on.
Thanks, Susan.